Imagine standing in front of a waterfall. So, so unimaginably powerful that it basically creates its own localized upside-down rainstorm.
Yeah, it's wild.
Right. The water doesn't just fall, it crashes with such force that millions of gallons of water and air are forced violently back up into the sky.
Yeah.
It literally rains upward from the earth.
Which is incredible to experience.
It is. But now, imagine realizing that it's going to cost you roughly $180, a literal stack of physical cash, and honestly, potentially your sanity, just to step across an invisible line in the dirt to actually look at it.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Welcome to today's deep dive on the travel podcast by ExcursionPass.
We are so excited for this one.
We really are. We love this show because we always try to get ahead of your objections and those little doubts you have about booking these experiences. It's like you're just sitting here with us, two friends who have actually lived this stuff, and we're sharing every single detail. We want you to feel like you're already there.
Exactly. And today we are heading to Livingstone, Zambia. Your mission, which sounds simple enough, is that you want to witness one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, Victoria Falls.
Yes, the big one.
Right. But as anyone who has traveled across international fault lines knows, the geology is straightforward, the human logistics,
Not so much.
anything but. So we are unpacking the reality of 2 very different ways to execute this trip today.
And we are going to give you that immersive, we have lived it perspective today. Because, well, we know the exact doubts creeping into your mind before you hit that book now button on your phone.
Oh, absolutely.
You're probably sitting there thinking, do I just stay on the Zambia side, or is it mandatory to cross over into Zimbabwe? Am I throwing money away on a guide when I literally have Google Maps in my pocket?
Right. The classic debate.
Yeah, and what is the deal with everyone screaming in the reviews about hidden fees?
Okay.
So we're going to share every wet, wild, and infuriating logistical detail so you can avoid the tourist traps and, frankly, save your camera gear from total destruction.
Because that is a real threat, as we'll get into later. But to set the baseline here, we are looking at 2 distinct pathways you can take. There is a $50 base tour staying entirely on the Zambia side, which is organized through ExcursionPass.
Okay, $50.
Right. And then there is a $70 cross-border expedition into Zimbabwe, and that one is run by Tamuka Travel.
Got it.
The underlying truth here is that, well, nature always delivers. The Zambezi River is going to flow regardless of your itinerary.
He doesn't care about your booking.
Exactly. But how you navigate the geopolitical realities surrounding that water will entirely dictate whether you end the day in awe or just in absolute frustration.
So true. Okay, before we deal with the headache of sovereign nations and border patrols, let's start with the path of least resistance. Like, if you are staying in Livingstone, Zambia, the easiest option is literally right in your backyard.
It is.
Let's look at that ExcursionPass day tour. You hear $50 to see a world wonder, and on the surface, it sounds incredibly accessible.
Yeah, a great deal.
It promises the waterfall viewpoints, the Zambezi Gorge, and that visceral encounter with the spray, which the locals call Mosi Otunya.
The smoke that thunders.
I love that name.
It's perfect, right?
And to understand why it thunders, you really have to picture the geology. The Zambezi River is over a mile wide at this point, just flowing placidly along a basalt plateau.
Just a huge, calm river.
Exactly. And then suddenly, it drops into a sheer chasm that is over 100 meters deep. But get this, it's only about 50 meters wide.
Oh, wow. So it just compresses.
Yes. When you cram a mile-wide river into a narrow crack in the earth, the sheer displacement of air pushes a column of spray hundreds of meters into the sky.
That's the upside-down rainstorm.
Right. So on the Zambia side, you're walking through this dense, dripping rainforest, sustained entirely by that airborne river. You're up close. You actually feel the vibration in your chest.
See, it sounds incredibly poetic until you read the fine print on the booking page.
Uh-oh. Yeah, my internal alarm bells immediately start ringing as a traveler when I see this stuff. The itinerary states the tour is $50, sure, but then it casually notes that, and I quote, local transfer may be arranged separately.
Ah, yes.
It also explicitly excludes accommodation, meals, and the actual park entry fees.
Right, the hidden stuff.
So listening to this, I am genuinely struggling to see the value here. Are you basically just paying $50 for a guy in a polo shirt to walk next to you and point at very loud water?
Well, okay, I get that. But you have to realize you are essentially paying for a human shield against local logistical chaos.
A human shield. Okay, explain that.
Yeah, if you look at how modern travel platforms structure these offerings, this is a bare bones coordination format. Yes, you are paying for the guide's time, but more importantly, you are paying for the security of a vetted route and a live calendar booking
Because
system.
you know someone will actually be there.
Exactly. It guarantees someone is accountable for your presence there in a place where things can get very chaotic.
But the heavy lifting is still entirely on my shoulders, right?
Right.
Like I still have to secure a ride from my hotel in Livingstone, coordinate the drop-off at the gate, and bring extra money for the national park fee.
Yes, that is the reality of this independent travel tier.
Gotcha.
This specific package is really built for the traveler who already has, say, a rental car or a reliable hotel shuttle and wants maximum flexibility.
Someone who doesn't want to be tied down.
Right. They don't want to be locked into a 10-hour group safari. They want a structured, educational 2-hour walk around the actual falls, and then they want to go back to their hotel pool.
Fair enough.
The danger is just unmatched expectations. Booking this tour without reading the fine print is like, I don't know, buying a car at a seemingly incredible discount, only to realize the steering wheel and tires are sold separately at the dealership.
That is a great analogy. So it's perfect if you like piecing the puzzle together yourself.
Right.
But here is the massive catch with staying in Zambia. Because you are physically so close to the falling water, you often miss the sheer scale of the landscape.
Yeah, you're almost too close to it.
Exactly. If you want that sweeping, panoramic postcard view of the entire mile-wide curtain of water, you have to look at it from the opposite side of the gorge.
Which means crossing over.
Yes. And that means you have to cross a sovereign border into Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the $70 Temuka travel day trip.
Right, so this is marketed as the comprehensive alternative. It still departs from your hotel in Livingstone, Zambia, but it actually includes the vehicle transfers across the international border.
Which is huge.
It is. You get the professional guide, the bottled water, and a significant structural perk, a reserved lunch at the famous Lookout Cafe.
Okay, I looked this place up, and it is spectacular.
Isn't it?
It literally hangs over the edge of the Batoka Gorge. You are eating lunch suspended over 120 meters above the Class 5 rapids of the Zambezi River. It just sounds like the ultimate travel flex.
Oh, totally. It is a brilliant way to break up a 6 to 8 hour tour.
Yeah.
They also cap the group at 15 people, and the walking portion is a highly accessible 2 kilometers. It even accommodates wheelchairs and strollers.
That's really nice.
So on paper, for $70, it seems drastically underpriced for a full-day international excursion with lunch over a gorge.
And that is exactly where the illusion breaks.
Here we go.
Because when you look at the what's not included section, the sticker shock is just staggering. Let's do the math for you guys listening, because the bureaucracy here is wild.
It really is.
Okay, so the base price is $70. But to physically cross from Zambia into Zimbabwe, an eligible international tourist has to pay a $30 Zambia visa fee plus a $30 Zimbabwe visa fee.
Just to cross the line.
That is $60 just to navigate the government checkpoints. And then you still have to pay the international entry fee for the Victoria Falls Park itself, which is another $58 per person.
Right. So you are looking at a minimum of $188 per person for a tour that was advertised at $70.
It's crazy.
I know. And I mean, this isn't deceptive marketing by the tour operator, though I know it feels like it.
It definitely feels like it. Like buying a budget airline ticket where they charge you extra to use the seatbelt.
Huh, exactly. But this is just the geopolitical reality of 2 sovereign nations sharing one geological fracture. The falls sit squarely on the border.
Right.
The governments of Zambia and Zimbabwe independently control access, and they heavily tax international tourism to fund their own park infrastructures and national budgets.
Still, knowing that an invisible line in the dirt nearly triples my daily travel budget is a really bitter pill to swallow.
Oh, for sure.
And the reviews make it very clear that you cannot rely on modern banking to save you here. We saw a review from Catherine B., who left this frantic warning for future travelers to bring cash for the border transfer.
Oh, yeah. Cash is king.
Like, you can't just tap your Apple Pay at a dusty border outpost between 2 African nations.
Definitely not. Cash is the only universal language at a border crossing. The card machines rely on cellular networks that frequently drop out, or they simply don't exist at all.
Wow.
If you show up without crisp, small denomination US dollars, your tour just ends right there at the immigration desk.
So with costs rapidly ballooning toward that $200 mark, a very logical question arises for anyone listening. Why don't I just do this on my own?
The DIY approach.
Exactly. I can buy my own visa, walk across the bridge, and look at the water. Let's dive into a fascinating clash in the traveler reviews that perfectly highlights this debate.
I love this part. We basically have two totally opposed philosophies of travel colliding over this exact issue.
We really do. In the do-it-yourself corner, we have a reviewer named Modem Foodie 2000 who traveled with friends, and they are absolutely adamant that paying for a guided tour is, quote, a total waste of money.
Tell us how they really feel.
Right. They break it down with brutal efficiency. They claim you can just ask your hotel for a driver, pay a $15 round-trip fare, zip through immigration in 30 seconds, pay the entry fee, and walk the beautifully signed trails for free.
So their entire argument rests on the premise that the guide adds absolutely zero intellectual or logistical value.
None. In fact, they were actually furious about the guide's presence. They felt they were corralled into a souvenir market, which they viewed as an outright scam just for the guide to earn a commission.
Ouch.
And my absolute favorite detail from this review, they were incredibly disappointed by an included crocodile viewing that consisted of looking at, quote, 2 frozen crocodiles.
Oh my God.
Just 2 reptiles not moving. I mean, if I'm paying nearly $200 for an African adventure, I'd probably be underwhelmed by 2 motionless crocodiles as well.
That's hilarious, but the frustration is palpable, right? When you pay a premium, you expect a curated premium experience, not an obligatory detour to a gift shop to buy, like a wooden rhino. But if we look at the response from David A., who represents Temuka Travel, we get a pretty sobering dose of reality about what independent travel actually looks like here.
Yeah, David completely dismantles that $15 taxi claim.
He really does. He points out the mechanical reality of the border. Your Zambian taxi driver is not licensed nor insured to drive commercial passengers into Zimbabwe.
Ah, of course.
So a DIY traveler has to negotiate a fare to the Zambian border, get out, walk through the no man's land and customs, and then negotiate a completely new fare with a Zimbabwean taxi mafia on the other side to get to the park entrance.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. The reviewer's $15 estimate likely ignores the compounding costs of multiple ad hoc transport negotiations.
And what about their claim about passing immigration in 30 seconds?
Pure luck.
Really?
Absolute luxury of timing. In peak season, dozens of overland trucks, tourist buses, and commercial haulers are bottlenecked at that crossing. You are standing there in the baking heat.
Ugh, no thanks.
If you don't have a local guide who knows the system, knows the border guards, and knows which line is actually moving, you could be hemorrhaging hours of your day just trying to get a stamp in your passport.
That makes a lot of sense. David also fiercely defended the souvenir market stop, which introduces a totally different angle to this whole thing.
Yeah, the ethical angle.
Right. The reviewer saw a transactional scam. But the operator explained that the market is the primary economic engine for hundreds of local families. The tourism ecosystem in Victoria Falls relies heavily on those micro-interactions.
Yeah, if the guides don't bring tourists to the markets, the local economy essentially starves.
Now remember, we aren't picking sides here. We're just reporting what the sources say.
Exactly. It forces you to confront your impact.
Yeah.
Are you there just to consume the view and leave, or are you participating in the local economy?
It's a tough balance.
It is, but bringing it back to the utility of the guide, guides provide the historical depth and geological context you just cannot get from a standardized metal sign.
For sure.
They explain the colonial history of David Livingstone, the indigenous significance of the site, the flora of the rainforest. Coupled with that guaranteed lunch reservation at the Lookout Cafe, the guide provides significant structural value for your day.
So it's the classic time versus money debate. If you are fiercely independent, you don't mind haggling with taxi drivers in the heat, and you simply want to take a selfie with the falls and leave, save your money and do it yourself.
Yeah, go for it.
But if you value your time, want someone else to handle the logistics of the border, and want to learn about the ground you are walking on, the guide is basically the barrier between you and total exhaustion.
Know thyself and book accordingly.
Let's assume you've booked the guide. You've accepted the government fees, you have a money belt full of crisp US dollars, and you are finally there.
You made it.
What is the physical reality of walking the trails of Victoria Falls? Because looking at the reviews, it suggests it is not a casual stroll in the park.
No, the primary physical reality is water. Millions of gallons displacing air creates an environment where you are going to get completely soaked.
Like a little damp.
No, we aren't talking about a light, refreshing mist. We are talking about torrential, sideways rain generated from below.
Oh, wow. So reviewer Demon actually gave the falls a glowing 5-star review, calling it magical. But they left a devastating warning for the rest of us.
The camera lens.
Yes, even wearing heavy-duty raincoats, they were drenched to the bone. And tragically, they ruined a 2,000-pound camera lens due to water ingress.
That is such a brutal lesson in physics.
Heartbreaking.
People need to understand that weather-resistant does not mean waterproof.
Right.
The pressure of the spray at Victoria Falls will force moisture into the tiny seams of expensive camera lenses and unsealed electronics. You just cannot bring standard gear to the edge of the gorge without a proper dry bag or a dedicated waterproof housing.
So the reviewer strongly advised hiring or buying a thick PVC waterproof cape right on site. Like, do not rely on a flimsy windbreaker.
No, a windbreaker won't do anything.
Another fantastic pro tip we found regarding the wet conditions has to do with footwear. People panic about packing heavy, bulky water shoes in their luggage just for this one day.
Which takes up so much room.
Right, but reviewer NGE730 pointed out that you can rent water shoes right at the entrance for just $2.
Oh, that is a massive logistical relief.
Isn't it?
Save the packing space, rent the shoes, rent the cape, protect your phone in a sealed bag, and just embrace the fact that you're going to look ridiculous and feel incredibly wet.
Embrace the ridiculousness. I love that. So the natural environment is wild, but it's consistent. The truly unpredictable element of this entire trip, and honestly the ugliest side of the reviews we analyzed, revolves around human logistics.
Yes.
While the Zambezi River never fails to show up, the tour operators frequently do.
We observed a highly troubling pattern regarding Temuka Travel's logistical operations in particular. The sheer anxiety reviewers experienced over unorganized pickups is just staggering.
It's the ultimate vulnerability when traveling abroad, right? You are standing in your hotel lobby at dawn. You don't have a local SIM card. You are relying entirely on the operator to honor their word.
Helpless.
Yeah. Reviewer Expedition 79888 detailed a scenario where their WhatsApp messages and emails were completely ignored. They were ghosted.
Awful.
And when transport did arrive, it was 75 minutes before the scheduled start time, throwing their entire morning into chaos.
Oh, that's almost worse than being late. And reviewer AgnesCam622 reported a similarly jarring experience. They were confirmed for a 7:30 a.m. start, but received a call at 6:30 a.m. demanding they come outside immediately because the driver was already waiting.
No one wants that kind of stress on vacation. And then there's reviewer Julia P., who experienced the exact opposite nightmare. She booked a dawn safari specifically scheduled for 5 a.m.
Early start.
The transport didn't arrive until after 7 a.m. No courtesy call, no apology. She just sat in the dark for 2 hours wondering if she'd been scammed.
That is so stressful.
And it gets worse. When she finally got onto the tour, the boat they used had unsecured plastic garden chairs for seating, and they promptly got the boat bogged down on a sandbank right next to a live crocodile.
Okay, that perfectly encapsulates the dichotomy of adventure travel in this region.
It really does.
The natural wonder, the falls, the wildlife is a 5-star, mind-blowing experience. But the preamble, the human element of getting you to the starting line, is going to test every single nerve in your body.
Right. It's like chartering a luxury private jet. But the company forces you to hitchhike to the runway, ignores your calls, and then hands you a long chair to sit on once you finally board.
Spot on.
The destination is incredible, but the journey is absurd. So how does a traveler actually protect themselves from this level of operational failure?
The first line of defense is what I call defensive booking. Both ExcursionPass and Temuka Travel offer a free 24-hour cancellation policy.
Okay, that's good.
You must take advantage of that to secure your spot while maintaining financial leverage if they stop communicating. Second, you just have to mentally recalibrate your expectations regarding time.
Ah, the concept of African time.
Precisely. Rigid minute-by-minute scheduling simply does not survive contact with the reality of washed-out roads, unpredictable border queues, and local vehicle breakdowns.
You just have to roll with it.
You do, but you also must be aggressively proactive. Do not assume silence means everything is running smoothly.
Right.
The night before your tour, call them. WhatsApp them. Have your hotel concierge call their local dispatch. Confirm the pickup time 3 times.
Trust, but verify. Exhaustively.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's pull all of these threads together. What is the ultimate takeaway for you, our listener, as you sit down to plan this itinerary?
Well, if your priority is a simpler, highly localized encounter with the visceral power of the falls, and you want to completely bypass the bureaucratic nightmare of an international border, stay on the Zambia side.
Keep it simple.
Use a service like ExcursionPass to secure your guide. But remember, the onus is on you to arrange transport and pay the park fees. You will get close, you will get wet, and you will stay in one country.
But if your travel philosophy demands the grand panorama, the full mile-wide view of the falls, and you love the structural comfort of an included lunch suspended over a dramatic gorge.
Which is amazing.
It is. Then you have to commit to Zimbabwe and Temuka travel. Just remember to bring a thick stack of small denomination US dollars for those visa fees.
Essential.
Invest in a heavy-duty waterproof bag so you don't fry your electronics, and pack an immense reserve of patience for the morning pickup. Assume the driver will be either an hour early or 2 hours late.
That is the best advice you can give. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder as you look at the map of your itinerary.
Lay it on us.
We've spent this entire discussion dissecting logistics, visa fees, and taxi fares. But zoom out for a second and think about the profound underlying reality of this destination. A single ancient geological event, a massive crack cut deep into the basalt by the flow of water, has fundamentally shaped human history in this region.
It's an incredible perspective when you think about it like that.
It is. This one waterfall has generated two entirely distinct microeconomies. It has birthed two separate tourism infrastructures, two competing bureaucracies, and two completely different lived experiences for the traveler.
Right.
And every single aspect of how you experience this natural wonder, how much you pay, who you interact with, what angle you view it from, changes entirely depending on which side of an invisible, imaginary political line you decide to stand on.
That's wild.
Nature didn't draw the border, but the border dictates how you are allowed to experience the awe of nature.
An invisible line dictating a natural wonder. It really makes you realize that travel is never just about looking at scenery, It's about navigating the human structures built around it.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive on the Travel Podcast by ExcursionPass. We really hope we have cleared up the muddy waters of your itinerary planning and anticipated those doubts keeping you up at night.
Get out there and enjoy it.
Yes. Embrace the smoke that thunders, and seriously, guys, do not forget to pack those raincoats. Until next time.